Okay, gonna play some background music while I get some people here. just sent the link out to some of the compadres who would like to discuss this on the panel, or just any Japan questions they may have, and also those who got the link, feel free to come up. Okay, just waiting for some of the guys to come up. We'd like to continue this discussion. So, anybody in the chat has any questions from the last stream, feel free to post. We could talk about that while I wait for the usual guys to come through. Not bad. Alrighty. Feel free to come on through. Definitely got a lot to discuss. Like I said, those who have been sent the link, just make sure you check your inbox or Telegram. Feel free to come up when you got the link. In the meantime, those of you that have questions in the chat, feel free if you want. You can post it in there. We can talk a little bit about it while we wait. Talking with some dudes on my podcast. Okay. Here's there for too long. Okay, I'm back. Thanks, King Sigma. Yeah, figured me and Shinobi Bro go ahead and make this into a business, so that's it's taking off really good. Can't complain. Can't complain. All right. We got some company now. Let's see. Mr. Free Zone Lou, how's it going, sir?
Man, what's poppin'? What's poppin', man? It's been a busy day, but all is well. How you doing?
Oh man, not much. It's been a pretty productive day. Went and worked out and then finished up here with this book review, so definitely can't complain.
Yeah, man. I heard a little bit of the book review, man, but I had to the wife and baby had to be taken care of. So
Oh, yeah, understandable.
from what I heard though, give me what I heard. It was good though, man. It was good, bro.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a book I will highly recommend anybody out there that wants to know as far as the society of Japan and maneuvering and such in there. I mean, it is a great book to kind of give that foresight.
Right, right. When you going back, man?
I am planning to go back this November. So right now, Japan just reopened back up this month, and so
Uh huh.
I'm kind of waiting to see just how they handle the tourism and all. But so far, they said that tourists coming in are pretty good, and they said right now for the U.S. We're one of the countries that have the protocol where we don't have to quarantine once arriving,
Uh
so
huh.
that's a good sign. And so once things hopefully kind of clears up by the end of this month, then I'll definitely be booking to go this November.
Nice, nice, man. Yeah, me and the lady are planning something for next year, man. So I,
Nice,
I, I get up with I get up with you on it. Most
nice,
definitely.
nice. Yeah, Shinobi bro, he too, he won't be traveling this year, but he said next year for sure he's going to be traveling over there, and then we're supposed to be planning something maybe not next year, but the year after, where all of us just kind of go over there and we'll do some on site recordings and everything for the Black Ronin series.
Nice, nice. There you go, man. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. 2022 is a little. It's all right. It's all right, but I think it's prepping for next year, man.
Yeah,
I'm spending all this
absolutely.
all this time waiting for the baby to come. I got a month left, and you know, we got to readjust, and everything is gonna be good coming into the next year.
Yeah, yeah, man, absolutely, definitely. I'll tell everybody like this is a perfect time to just kind of stay put and watch to see how things are going on. But I think so far Japan should be pretty good for tourism by the end of this year. And then from there, next year they already forecasted like a big economic boom, just based off of tourism because being shut out for 2 years, their revenue has almost shrunk to non-existence.
Right, right. I mean, that's a big piece of their bread and butter.
Hmm.
Which is funny. We over here complaining about immigration, and other countries are like, please, please immigrate. It's so ass backwards, man. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. And yeah, King Sigma, the Prime Minister of Japan, Prime Minister Kishida, he just announced last month that Japan will be reopening back up to all tourism going into this month. And so starting on the 10th, they'll be allowing up to 10,000 foreign tourism to start coming into Japan. And they're hoping by kind of like mid July, if everything goes well, they're going to be start allowing like up to 1 million people per day to come in. But yeah, yeah. I was just talking to my girl last night, and she's super excited that I'm finally being able to come back. And it's something, man. I'll tell anybody like when you have somebody who is waiting for the day of you to return and all, it's a completely different feeling.
Right, right. You ain't lying, man. What part of Japan y'all gonna be in?
So she lives in Osaka. That's in the Kansai region. It's
Yes, yes.
southwest of Tokyo, and
Uh,
so this would actually be my first time going to Osaka because last time I went there, I only stayed in Tokyo, pretty much for the whole trip. So this trip, I'll be doing 2 weeks stay there. So I'll be spending the first week in Osaka, and then I'll spend the final week back in Tokyo before I fly back out.
have you been to Kyoto?
No, but that's also on my list too. When I go to Osaka, Kyoto, because they're literally like right next door to each other, I'll be doing some
Right,
visits
right.
there. Hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, me and the brothers got to go back. I was stationed at Okinawa when I was a kid, and I never got a chance to go to the mainland. So
Mm.
that's what we got to do. Okinawa was dope though. Okinawa was
Yeah,
fire.
that's what I've been told too. Like Okinawa, it's kind of like its own different place compared to rest of Japan, but
Hmm.
it's unique in and of itself. So I definitely have it on my list to go there too.
Yeah, man, you'll enjoy it. Like people be sleep on how much Japan has to offer, man. I really been I really been like, even though I'm on the note of America being a great country and all that. Me and the lady been talking like, yo, it's time to bounce, yo. It's time to bounce. It's time to get the fuck up out of here.
Right, right.
Shit getting nuts,
Well,
man.
well, kind of like Laughing Dog. He asked, "Do they allow Americans to own homes?" Let me tell you something, Laughing Dog. Me and Shinobi Bro just did a stream roughly 2 months ago where they are literally trying to sell these homes in like rural Japan, countryside Japan, pennies on the dollar. And I'm talking you could find um, 5 bedroom, 4 bedroom homes. They're selling these for like 55 grand or even less than that. So already, me and Miss Kagome, we already trying to like start pre-planning. Like, hey, what type of retirement place you want to look into? Because I pretty much already kind of looking at when I do retire here in America. I'm either going to spend the rest of my living days in Vancouver, if not in Japan.
There you go. Yeah, man, I'm trying to get up out of here for that dollar shrink up. You get
Yeah,
the
dude. Right
but
now,
I do know I know
mm,
Japan has their visa program is pretty straightforward. It's not hard to get a visa in Japan. I think it's like 90 days for a temp and then like 3 years. Last time I looked, I think it was 3 years. 3 years
yeah,
for a long term.
yeah, mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, there's so many like we've been looking at a couple places, man. We was looking at Portugal. We was looking at Osaka. What else was we looking at? Spain.
Mm.
Looking. So I think in the next 2 years we'll have an idea of where we're gonna be. But we got to get out there and do some traveling, man. We got
Man,
so
that's what I'm saying. And honestly, overall, real estate outside of America, much cheaper compared to American real estate right now. So it's like,
dog.
yeah, it just
They giving it away, man. They giving it away.
seriously. And all you got to do is just act like you got some sense,
That's it,
and
bro.
you can
That's
own
it.
some property.
Try to tell people, man. Like they say, America's for sale. Like nah, man. The whole world is for sale at this point. America just has a higher cap. That's it.
Right, right. And right now, man, compared to the American dollar, for $1 is the equivalent of like 130 yen in Japan. So you can literally get away with a lot of finances and economics with just the American dollar.
You live like a king, bro. Live like a king.
Right, right. And that's another thing too. I remember a brother I last did an interview with. He said that you can also start like putting money into a pension in like the Japanese
Hmm.
pension system. So
Hmm.
when you do retire, you can literally have like a two-way pension with America and now Japan because you donated money into the Japanese pension.
Right, right. I thought it was I thought they didn't like outsiders. Like as far as like visas. When did that change?
Honestly, dude, it's
You
interesting.
do know what I'm talking about, right? Because there was a time
Right.
where it was just like exclusively, you know, don't trust them over there. Like this is us. You got to, and the barrier for entry to
It was
become a
stricter.
Japanese citizen was high. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know when that
Well,
changed though.
I can tell you this much. It literally started, you could probably say in the last decade, where they forecasted that, and in fact, I'll probably have to find this article because they talked about it recently. But Japan's birth rate is abysmal. Like I'm just going off of the stats they provided. Japan is not producing enough children domestically to the point to where if um if they don't right the ship, I think they said by the end of this decade, is projected by 2040, Japan's current population, which is like at least 125 million, is projected
Uh
that
huh.
number would then be in half. So
Shit.
they're now starting to entertain immigration, and especially those who have the capacity to, be productive in society. They're really pushing for them to like, hey, come over here to Japan, and you, especially if you're American, you'll be able to kind of do well in this society. Plus, we want you to kind of help boost our birth rate.
Yeah, man. That's that whole. Hey, how you doing, sir? Please take my wife, please. You hungry? You need something to eat? Please sit down. Sit down. Sit down. It's my wife. Have her, please.
Right,
Yeah, that
right.
it's hella low though. Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yeah, so really that's where they've suddenly got to got to the point of, yeah, we need to start entertaining immigration because if not, we're not gonna have a productive society and population, and so that's where they're like, yeah, we can ease up with allowing foreigners to come in if they truly, are productive in society and all. And that's Shinobi Bro's forte. He goes into like the economics of what goes on around the world and talks about a lot with Japan and how Japan is really starting to be more open to bringing productive foreigners into Japanese society in order to boost up their GDP.
Right, right. What's the social what are the social factors that play into why the birth rate is so low? Like, did they have a gender war that just kind of went left, or was it the bomb? Are they still recovering from that? Like, what's going on there?
So I kind of talk a little bit about it in the book review with Black Passenger and Yellow Cabs. So really, was kind of driving the whole low birth rate is the fact that they're overworking people. And shout out to Xanatos
Mm,
Clutch in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Um, in fact, what he said here is true. He said, "From what I've seen on the ground, Japan is going down with the ship, unless they ship a bunch of white men teachers." Yeah, and that's what I kind of come to the same conclusion too. Xanatos, they're having children. They're just not having children at the rate that the government feels they should be having children. And so, the Japanese mindset is, well, hey, unless they change these dynamics of the working conditions and all, then, hey, if our population is cut in half by 2040, so be it. And to be honest, I don't blame them because, like I mentioned in uh, the book review stream, Japan's working hours is astronomically worse compared to here in America. So, like, here in America, part time is considered anything less than 40 hours. And then full time is anything at 40 hours and above. Well, in Japan, part time is anything that's 40 hours or more, full time is anything 80 hours or more. And on average, Japanese people are working 100 hours per week.
God damn.
And that's something like me and Miss Kagome, we talk about a lot. This is why we pretty much came to the conclusion like, hey, if we're going to raise a family, it's going to be better off we raise them here in America because working in those conditions in Japan, you're not going to be able to really spend time with your family, let alone spend time with your girlfriend or boyfriend. And so, Japan is kind of working a little bit on easing off on those strenuous working hours, but yeah, that's the driving force as to why their birth rate is very low. Is because they just be they're literally working to death. Like there's a stat that talks about how much Japanese people literally die at their desk job every single year.
Hmm. Now, why do they work so much? I know that sounds like a that sounds like a silly question, but what is pushing them? The government feels that the Japanese people should be working this much.
So it is two ways. So number one, it really comes back down to their Confucius upbringing. So when you go
The
back,
values.
right. So when you go back to ancient Japan, they were very strict on, okay, you were born in this type of family, you have to do this no matter what. And any sort of disobedience could literally be your head. And Mr. Bryan, he talks about it in the book. And then another dynamic is right after World War II, when, I mean, Japan was literally bombed down to his knees, they needed a way to kind of help build back their economy. And so, just unanimously, these people just decided, well, you know what? if we got to work an extra 100 hours just to boost the Japanese economy so that we could be the one of the top economies in the world, so be it. So it was literally
Right,
like
right.
it was literally like overnight they just decided we're going to go from this imperialism of Japan being the best and the racial disparities and whatnot to where we're going to embrace the democratic ideals, but we're also going to be extreme about it.
Right, right. It's like fuck y'all niggas. Nah, I'm just playing, man. Y'all come in. Y'all come in. Y'all we just play it. We just play it.
Right?
Please have my wife.
Man, I wish Shinobi Rover was here because he could definitely talk a lot about the economic rise of Japan and what really pushed them to really work that hard. And it's admirable, but now it's gotten to the point to where since the bubble, which was in like the 80s and the 90s, Japan's economy has been stagnant. And it's only till recently with the low birth rates where it's like, okay, we got to do something to kind of re-stimulate this economy again.
Right, right. Now, I don't know what kind of work. It sounds like you do remote work. So you wouldn't really be affected by any of this, really, would you? Because I mean, your work is not in the infrastructure of the country.
Right. Like
Right.
I work for a university. So if I was to say go like relocate over to Japan, I wouldn't be hindered by Japan's working condition because I work for an American university. So I still would have to adhere to the university standards versus the Japanese standards.
Right, right. So then if the country goes to shit, you could just bounce.
Yeah, pretty much. Xanatos
Right.
brings a good point. He says Tokyo, in my honest opinion, is overrated, and its stiffness, uptight, cold Western attitudes gets old quick. Western Japan, however, from Osaka to Okinawa and everywhere in between, is a better story. So
Right, right. Okay, cool, cool. So like Tokyo is a lot more liberal than the rest of the country since that's the area that gets the most let's say population of people.
right, and I've yet to go to Osaka, Xanatos, but I definitely could say, based on the people that I met from that area, the Kansai region, yeah, there's definitely a difference between the Tokyoites and the Osakans. And
Osakans.
yeah, as far as like
The
how they
Osakanites.
how they conduct themselves. Yeah, shout out to Ashton, man. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, man, because when I was in Okinawa, I didn't feel like people hated me or anything like that. I didn't feel no racism over there, man.
Honestly, I
You know
didn't
what I'm
even.
saying?
I even when I was in Tokyo, I didn't feel any sort of racism at all. It was just mainly like, hey, you're a black man, and as long as you respect the culture, we respect you.
Right, right. So, I mean, there were a couple instances where I did feel outside, but I never thought it was because of my skin. I thought it was because, I mean, you're in a completely different culture. They speak a completely different language. I
Right.
was smart enough to be like, okay, maybe it's just their culture, and there's things about the culture I don't know. I was smart enough to pick that up when I was younger. Um, but Japan's dope. I can't imagine. Oh man, Japanese values with a liberal spin. Ugh.
Well, let me ask you this: when you was stationed in Okinawa, were you able to like befriend a lot of Japanese men, or you still keep in contact with a good amount of Japanese men from there?
No, I did not because well, I was a kid, man. Like I was young, and
Oh,
the only
okay.
time that we ever The only time that we ever really dealt with the Japanese, like I was in elementary school, and once a year we used to they had an exchange program where we would go to a Japanese school, and then they would come to our school. And
Mm.
so, I mean, I made friends like that, but it wasn't like, we didn't have phones, and I wasn't like a letter pen pal kind of person. So we we
Okay.
we uh we we would go to the same school, and I would look for the same people. But ultimately, once I left Japan, I was pretty much done.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, because that's one thing that one of well, it was kind of like one of my biggest critique of Mr. Bryan, in his book was the fact that he really didn't go out of his way to socialize with Japanese men. Like, sure, he would have to talk with them as far as on the job and everything, but outside of that, um, and you could say probably because of his addiction and everything, he steered away from Japanese men and he just had a beacon for only Japanese women. And not only that, the unstable variety, the ones that sure they're hot in the sack, but you wouldn't want her to be your wife or mother of your children.
So like the Japanese Keisha, the Japanese Strag, that's what
Oh
we
yeah,
talking.
oh yeah, they do exist.
They do. No, they absolutely do. It's. Why don't you tell them about the is anything different from the what's the difference between the American Strag and the Japanese Strag?
Honestly, man, they're one and the same. In my book, um, to be and this another thing that he mentions in his book how he tried to pursue the ones who had an inkling for black men or who just exclusively only dated black men. And even though I understood why he went that route, I still couldn't agree with him. And the reason why is because I'm kind of one where if a non-black woman have exclusively only dated black men, that's a red flag because now it comes down to the question of what type of black men did you really date or were you around?
Right, right. It's like they already know the game.
Right. And
You know what I'm
so
saying?
those type of women is kind of like they already have an idea of what you should act like. And to me, that's pretty much like dating a strag. They're simply they simply are just no different. So, like for example, my girl, I'm literally the first. Not only am I the first black man she's ever dated, I'm also the first Gaijin or foreigner she's ever dated. All of her previous boyfriends were Japanese, and
Right, right.
she has a healthy relationship in regards of her understanding of men and what all they do and everything. And so I don't have to worry about her having this attitude, like a typical strag, because outside of me, she's never dealt with an American, let alone a black man before.
Mm-mm-mm. You hit the lotto with that. Well, actually, you didn't. I would say he hit the lotto with a strag. Which one do you think is more likely? You hit the lotto or he hit the lotto?
I will probably say because he didn't interact with a lot of Japanese men or Asian men for that matter. I would say he more likely he more likely hit the lotto more so than I would. And I say that this is where I tell brothers, like, no matter what country you go to or what culture, you always want to be friends with the men of those cultures. Why is that? Because when it comes down to dealing with the women of those cultures, the men will let you know straight up whether girl over there is pretty cool and chill and she would be a good girlfriend, a boy, or girlfriend, a wife, or girl over there is, yeah, she's good for a one night stand, but don't try to do anything more than that. And to me, that helps out in the long run. Whereas if you just go to these countries, without interacting with the men there, you're pretty much at the mercy of of whatever type of women you deal with.
Right, right. So this book was written by a pro-black, or the story, I guess. Would you consider him to be pro-black? Like she's got to understand my struggle and feel my pain, all that goofy shit.
Oh no 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 no! He's definitely he's definitely anything but pro black. You can actually say thanks to his abusive relationship from his mother growing up. Um, Pretty much he already knew that once he settled down from his addiction and all, his wife and children are definitely going to be of the mixed variety, and so he's definitely not pro black, but starting off, or you could say throughout most of the book, he's pro feminism.
Oh, oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
this guy, to show you how much of a pro feminism he was, he during his sexual escapades, this guy said he was attracted to the Hillary Clinton types. Yeah,
that is horrible.
right. He said he likes the ones who are very opinionated and could give him a run for his money and everything, but he just liked them being Asian, or in this case Japanese. And it's like, yeah, you would definitely need a beacon to find those type of women.
Right, right. That's the same, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-uh.
But he finally wised up towards the end of the book. He said he realized that he had a propensity of attracting, these unstable women, troublesome women, and he realized that it's him and not the women. So he changed up
Mm-hmm.
his act, and he started only pursuing women who come from stable environments, and that's how he met his wife.
Which not only ties into yesterday's stream with the culture bombs, it also ties into the conversation we were having offline about your boy Johnny. Your
Yeah,
boy. You, you Hey, I'm glad he wised up though, man. It's all on him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll tell any brother, like, if you come to me saying that all women are the same, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, okay, uh, the describe the women that you were in relationship with, and if it turns out that all the women you've been in a relationship with or you dealt with have similar traits, i.e., they were unstable, then I'm just going to turn around and say, well, the only thing I see common with these women is they all dealt with you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So,
Get to the
so
chopper.
you,
They don't want to hear that.
right. So you need to figure
Personal
out what is
responsibility? What's that?
right.
My
And
bad, my
that's
bad, my bad. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. That's what we've tried to talk about, last night on the culture ball. That's what Johnny finally understood. Like, dude, you have a propensity of attracting these unstable women, and they giving you a lot of trouble. So you need to fix yourself before you try to, you try to find
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's more stable. Again, it kind of go back to that saying: you are what you attract, and what you can attract, you
That's
are not.
that's it. That is it. How hard was it for you to find the your lady in Japan? What kind of treks did you have to go through to find her, or did you vet efficiently?
Honestly, again, it kind of for me just kind of go back with um having Japanese male friends and going to them as
Mm-hmm.
far as like understanding what type of women is good for like girlfriend or wife versus those who like only good for just a one night stand. And
Mm-hmm.
really, how I met Miss Kagome, we was at like a little get together, and we were just talking a little bit, whatnot, and my buddy he was like, "Yeah, man, she's really cool." He's like, "She's really cool. She's down to earth. She doesn't like go crazy because she's in a foreign land and everything. Like she's as they say, she's really a goody good girl." And
Right,
their
right.
accuracy was spot on. You know, to me, that's just knowing what you're looking for, excuse me, but also having the type of guys who can help you find what you're looking for.
Right, that's key. That is key. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because I had to go through the same thing, man. Like, the lady I found was the lady that my wife now. That's how I found her from like a
Mm.
homeboy who knew me, knew her, was like, yo, this y'all look like y'all work, and the rest is history. But before that, man, talk about trial and error, man. Trial and
Right.
error.
Right.
Thankfully, it didn't get too crazy. I just uh, had some crazy moments. No violence, no babies, no take half. But I learned quick. I'm one of those, yo. I touch the stove once, that's it. All right, that shit hot.
Right.
That shit, that shit is hot. All right, let's not touch that again.
Right, man. That's what gets me with some of these knuckleheads online where they're just like, "Yo, man, I just can't leave because she got the booty and she got all that," and it's like, but bro, she's giving you headaches. Like
Right, right. They love
it
that stove, man. They love it. Hey, I just can't let it go, man. Like look at the coils. Look at the coils. It just when I touch, I know it hurts when I touch, but the coils, they're just so. And then even when they leave that one, they'll try to get something new, and it's just like, bro, the stove is still burning you. But you gotta, dude, this one's different. This is an induction stove. It don't got the coils. It just got the induction. You hit the button, you get hot, but it's still burning you, bro. It's still burning you.
right. So you just went from an old fashioned strag to a new technological strag.
Right,
Oh
right.
man. By the way, what did you think of that story when he went to that bakery, Mr. Donut, and how you can order a glazed donut to go, but you can't take the cup of milk with you. You have to drink it in the bakery.
That was, I mean, that it is what that's kind of outrageous. It's outrageous, but it is what it is. That's
I mean, the cashier had to call up his manager, then his
hmm
manager had to call up the regional manager, and then that manager had to call up the director just to see, can we allow this guy to have a cup of milk to go?
to go. Yeah. God damn, man.
I mean, can you just imagine, man? You go into Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, or wherever bakery where you get your donuts, and you get your glazed donut, but you like, can I also have a bottle of milk? And they tell you, sure, but you have to drink that milk in here.
We we stingy with our milk, man. It's got a secret
Right.
recipe. It's got secret ingredients in it, man. We can't have you leave.
Right.
Then they lock the door like it's what's that movie? What's that movie? A Bronx Tale. You ever
Right.
see that? Now you can't leave. Start beating you up, throw milk everywhere.
Right. All because like, look, man, I just want something to wash this down. Like, yeah, we'll give you something, but you have to drink it in here. Otherwise, you can't leave.
Hey, but I mean, that's why it's important. Like even with us talking about going and looking at these places, we're looking at the customs and courtesies of these places. Because
Right.
you could inadvertently disrespect somebody in a place that you know nothing about.
Right. And again, that's also taking the exercise of, okay, just have common sense. You're in a new environment that's totally different from America. What you can get away with in America does not necessarily mean you could do the same thing in these other places. And,
Hmm.
sad to say, some brothers and black women, when they go to these other cultures and see that some things they could do in America they can't do there, somehow that's considered racism. And it's like, no, that's just a non American standard.
Right, right. It's unreasonable to it's ass backwards to leave a place. Oh my God, bro. It's that's just ass backwards, man. It's ass backwards to leave a place and expect the new place to be just like the old place. It's like, nah, bro, this is a new place. That whatever you
Right,
did in the new world don't work. Whatever you did in the old world is not gonna work in the new world. It's just not. And
right.
a lot of people, like I've been talking to a couple friends about traveling who live in the States that don't really travel like that.
Mm,
And I didn't realize how many people don't like they want to travel, but they're afraid to travel. They're afraid to explore the unknown. Absolutely amazing how many people there are. I didn't realize it.
bro, I could tell you right now, on my last trip to Japan, this is 2019, I had a traveling buddy to come with me, and he's from the South, and I mean the deep South. And so,
Hmm.
for most part, he's only been outside of university. He's only been around other black folks, and even when he went
Right.
to the university where the one he went to was predominantly white and all, he still only hung around black folks for the most part. So we traveled to Japan. 3 days into the trip, he's
Hmm.
already homesick.
Hmm.
I mean,
Mm-mm-mm.
3 days into the trip, he's already homesick. He wants to travel back to America. Really, he just want to travel back to the South because he's just not
Right.
used to being in an environment where it's predominantly, you know, Asian people, and their cultural standards is vastly different compared to what you could get away with in America.
Right. Right. Yeah, because I think it's like what, 1 in 6 Americans that have never left even their home state. One in
Right.
six haven't left their home state. And I could tell when I'm talking to them, man, the questions that I get, because I'm like, yeah, man, as soon as our baby is born, we're gonna do some traveling. They're like, you gonna travel with a kid? How do you travel with a kid? Doesn't that seem like it's a lot? It's like, no, it's actually not. It's
Right.
it's actually not a lot of work. It's just one extra bag. That's really all it is.
Right. I mean, me and Miss Kagome, we talk about, even with the kids being born, how we're still gonna take trips, trips where it's all the family, and then trips where it's just the two of us. Like,
Exactly, exactly. But I mean, a lot of people aren't willing to leave their comfort zone to build extra networks
Right.
outside. It's highly important to establish networks wherever you go. And if you haven't left your home state, like just I bro, I couldn't even that would mean like going one state over would like monstrously change your life. And I've traveled
Hmm.
so much to where it's pretty much, when I get to a spot, okay, let's look for apartment. It's clockwork. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's secondhand to me.
Mm.
And so
Now let me ask you this: when you're pre-planning for travels here in America, do you kind of like stake out the areas of where you're going to stay, like the apartment or Airbnb, to kind of see, hey, what's the crime rate in this particular area if I'm going to stay there for a good amount of time?
yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And I make it a thing to travel to the place. Um, Even if it's across the country. Like let's say today I got a job opportunity, a job of a lifetime in
Mm.
Vegas. I'm gonna take a trip to Vegas for like a week, drive around, see what it's like, see if I like the flow of the city, the tempo of the city, do my research, and if I like it, then I'll take it. If not, then because I don't want to move into an area that's detrimental as well, where there's a lot of shit going on that I know nothing about, just because it's
Right.
a good opportunity. I'm just not gonna do that. So I like to get all my info before I go. I'll talk to some people. Do some research. Like I was doing some research on Taipei, Taiwan, right?
Mm.
And I had somebody tell me like, "Yo, you don't want to go there. It's the crime rate is off the chain." But all my research indicates that it's one of the safest. It's one of the safest countries in Asia, and I'm like,
Right.
something's not clicking here. Something's not clicking here. So, and then there are times where you just got to make you got to go Christopher Columbus with it.
Oh yeah.
But if you can get as much information before you go, that'll make that it relieves the anxiety of the location.
I tell you, man. So when I stayed in Tokyo, I stayed in the part of the city called Oraku, which is Ora City.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding, listening to some of my Japanese friends that stayed in Tokyo, Oraku is considered like the the ghetto of
Uh-huh.
like Tokyo area. Bro,
Mm-hmm.
their ghetto is like Beverly Hills compared to the ghettos we know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But, I mean, it's just common sense is common there.
Right.
They have their whole value system on lock. Everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, yeah. And to me it's not that hard to really be integrated into their society. I mean, if you truly enjoy the Japanese culture and their standards of how they communicate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
believe me, they're more than happy to welcome you on. Just
Yeah.
over the mere fact you respect the culture and you're at least trying.
Right.
It's one thing if you're complaining about a certain culture and you don't even try. It's like, well, dude, of course, hardly anybody's
Mm-hmm.
not going to respect you because you're not even putting the effort to actually get to know the culture and actually try to be part of it.
Right, right. I mean, those types of people, they expect to just be accepted anywhere as they
Hmm.
are. Just this is me, and it's like, yo, you do know like a lot of stuff that you think is you is not actually you, and but that's a whole other. You go ahead, bro. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about. Go
oh,
ahead.
bro, you hit it right. You hit it right on the money because a brother that I interviewed earlier this year, Patrick King Song. he talks about how when he first moved to Japan, excuse me, he made it his business. He wanted to interact with the Japanese people, both male and female.
Mm-hmm.
He had no interest in trying to hang out with like the foreigners there, because he even said it how the foreigners' idea of Japan is not what I'm looking for. I actually want to be integrated with the actual Japanese who are there. And he said even when he started a little bit, starting to hang out with the foreigners and everything, he he kind of keeps them at arm's length because he don't want their mentality to start to rub off on him in regards of, yeah, man, the Japanese here don't really care too much for foreigners and whatnot, and you're gonna have a hard time really trying to integrate in society. And he just made it business like, hey, that's your problem. That ain't mine.
Right, right. Yeah. Don't try to put your problems on me. Don't do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. You know,
that,
space is the space is good for that. They love to make it's a collective problem. Like, nah, nigga, that's your that's your issue, bro. I'm loved
right,
over here.
right. That's kind of how I was kind of with my travel buddy. On the day that we was about to get ready to fly back to America, I was really contemplating because I had a stamp on my passport for 90 days. I was
Hmm.
really contemplating, like, I could forgo this flight and just send my traveling buddy back to America since he's homesick. I
Hmm.
could stay an extra week or so if I really want to.
But you decided to roll with the homeboy. Decided to go home
Yeah,
early.
I was like, yeah, just to make sure he don't do anything crazy and all. I'll just travel with him back there. Shout out to Logic Find. It's good to see you, sir, and congrats to your daughter getting her masters. But
Hey, salute, salute.
yeah, I was like, yeah, next time I travel back to Japan, first off, I'm going to spend more than 1 week there, and two, I'm going to bring somebody who actually is down, as they say, down with the culture.
Down with the
And
culture.
I have another traveling buddy of mine, as a brother. He is a martial art enthusiast, so he really wants to
Mm.
travel to Japan.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Japan is dope, man. Japan is hella dope. You'll have a much better. I would dare say, man, you'll have a much better time there than you would here.
Yeah, man, pretty much. Like I'll tell anybody, like I I'm not even taking any vacations this year because I'm just waiting till Japan opens back up. That's pretty much my vacation.
Right, right.
I mean, sure, there's you know events opening up now here in America and everything, but I'm just to the point now, except for places where I've actually want to go there to like explore some of the history and all. Like when I went to Pearl Harbor last year for the 80th anniversary, that
Hmm.
that was a trip where I really was looking forward to from a historical perspective. But outside of that, it's like traveling for people want to travel for the clubs and the parties and all that such. I'm good. I'd rather go to places where I know I can get more outside of just parties and clubs.
Right, right. Well, so you're starting a family, and I believe you're gonna start it in Japan, correct?
No, so we'll have the wedding in Japan,
Uh-huh.
but we're gonna start a family here.
Oh, you gonna Americanize her? Don't do it.
Oh.
Don't do it. Go to Perth. Go to.
Honestly, bro, she'll be fine. Like
Nah,
there
I'm
there's
playing.
yeah, there's a network of especially here in Phoenix. There's like a network of Japanese places and all. She'll be just fine. And plus, she went to school out here when I was in school, so she really likes the place.
And is at the end of it all, is this gonna be home base, or y'all still kind of exploring different countries and seeing different options?
Well, like I said, as far as like our retirement plan, it's either going to be Vancouver or back to Japan. So once the kids are all out the nest and doing their own thing, and I've officially in my retirement, that's where we're going to move, either Vancouver or Japan, and just live out the rest of our living days there.
So, what is it about? I've only been to Canada for like a weekend because I lived in Detroit and you could just drive over there. As far as living in Canada, what is I honestly don't see the draw. I don't, as far as living, like I see the visiting draw, but like especially with everything that's going on and Trudeau and all that craziness, what is the thing that would make you let you want to live there?
So I can't speak for all of Canada because I haven't been to all this most of the city there's and all. I've only been to one city and that's Vancouver. I could just say from my experience living in Vancouver for a little bit before the pandemic, Vancouver is just awesome. To me, Vancouver acted more so like an American city, and but the cool thing about it was, the people are more civilized, and the health system is actually much better, at least from my understanding, in Vancouver than compared to any other place in America. And I'm a person too. I love nature, and so I instantly fell in love with Vancouver when I saw all of the mountains there, and I saw Vancouver Bay and everything. Like it was really just a nice place to really live in. And sure, it gets cold during the winter, but because it's like right there near the water, it doesn't get like freezing cold. It's more like a manageable cold where, I don't have to worry about my car getting, stuck in the snow and everything and whatnot. Compared to like, from my understanding, if you go to places like Alberta or Calgary, it snows so much that you know, it's a monster. But Vancouver, nah, I haven't experienced that, and really the place is just wonderful. And so me and Miss Kagome is like, yeah, our retirement, we're either going to move to Vancouver or we'll just go to Japan. Let's see. Zenito says the draw to Canada is that it's the United States that isn't obsessed with black men demonization, demoralizing, and hatred. And there are parts of Canada that aren't as far left. I agree. I would say Vancouver. Um, Vancouver is definitely like a Seattle, but still more reserved. Um, to me, the people that I talk to there, they're just pretty cool and whatnot, and I just like it. And yes, sir, Logic Finance. I'll see you later on, good sir. Oh, I love that quote. So, alrighty, all right. So,
Yeah, because most of the immigrants that go to Canada are like Asian. Is it China? China, right? Most of them.
I would say a good amount go to Canada. Yeah, I would say Vancouver. You will see a lot of Koreans and Japanese up there.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know as far as like rest of Japan, or excuse me, rest of Canada and all, as far as like their Asian population. I could definitely say from my time in Vancouver, a lot of Japanese and Koreans live there. And Kukumasi, sir, you got the link. Definitely hop on up. Definitely would like to hear your viewpoints on some of these subjects.
Vancouver. I'm gonna add that to the list. I'm gonna add that to my. We got a travel list. I'm gonna add that to it.
Yeah,
Vancouver.
yeah, I'm already trying to plan another trip. So I will be going back to Vancouver next spring. From my understanding, they are starting to open back up as well. So I'll be going back there next spring. And then I'm already trying to plan a trip to Korea. I got some friends that live out there as well. They say Korea is pretty good too for brothers. Straightforward brothers go in there. So looking forward to that. And then I'm also going to try to make some trips to Europe. So places like the UK, Germany, France, and Ireland. So those places are definitely on my list.
Right, right. That's dope. Hell yeah, man. It's time, man. I'm waiting for it. I'm glad everything's starting to open back up so everybody can get out and do their thing. Now, do you have to, is it still required for you to get vaccinated in order for you to travel to these places?
Um, I can't speak for Vancouver. I don't know as far as what's their
Well,
situation with the vaccination. I
hmm
do know with Japan. Japan has a list of countries that, based on their COVID situation, they may have to be quarantined or get tested and all. As far
hmm
as vaccination, America is on the good list. So, from my understanding, you don't have to be vaccinated. As long as you've tested 72 hours before the trip, you're pretty much good to go.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Good, good. Hmm.
Yeah, but I did hear there are some countries, especially some over in Africa, they're on the red list for Japan. So you have to be vaccinated. You have to have tested 72 hours before you take your flight to Japan. And even if you've done the first two correctly, you have to quarantine for 14 days before you're allowed to venture out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So this is where I am proud to be an American.
Yes. Or at least I know I'm free. Sorta. Sorta. Sorta free. More free than others.
Yeah, man. Yeah. By the way, oh my goodness. Speaking of as far as like people's perspective when they go to these other countries and everything, I talked about how when I went to the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, this is actually where the emperor and his family stay in. They had like an exhibition site where they like show these ancient artifacts from like feudal Japan. So these are
Uh-huh.
collections that the imperial family kept within the household. So as you're walking up to this facility, they have a sign posted on the glass door, no cameras allowed. And there's like an older Japanese man there. He sees me walking up and he's like, excuse me, sir, could you please put your camera in your backpack? So me, not thinking much of it, it's like, yeah, sure, why not? So while I sit my backpack on the table and was breaking down my camera to put it into the backpack, this white guy walks up and he has one of those photographer cameras and he's walking up and the older Japanese man's like, excuse me, sir, could you please put your camera away? He did not even acknowledge the Japanese guy. He just walked right past him and went into the exhibition place. It's like the attitude of, "Hey, I don't care. I'm a white guy. I can do whatever I want." And the Japanese guy, the older guy, had this look on his face like, "You mother trucker."
God damn. Oh, let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Mm.
this because I just read earlier today that North Korea, South Korea launched some missiles, and I don't know if it's in response to the whole East China Sea conflict. Do you know anything
Mm.
about that?
Yeah, it mainly deals with North Korea. They're they're kind of like this goes all the way back to like World War II as far as their hostilities towards Japan,
Uh-huh.
and they will launch these missiles, but it's not like an actual attack. It's more like a scare tactic. Um,
Right.
so to speak, they're just testing out their missiles to see how far it could reach to these other countries and whatnot. Because pretty much Japan, they don't have per se nuclear warheads, but because the military base is stationed there, if need be, America can launch missiles all the way into North Korea. So North
Mm-hmm.
Korea knows that it's probably best to play chicken.
To chill out. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
and for the most part, China is also doing their own little thing, but China is not even like after Japan. China's really their main target right now is Taiwan. They really want to bring
Mm-hmm.
Taiwan back into their state of existence. And so
Mm-hmm.
again, with America being stationed both in Japan and in Taiwan, China is not like so quick to want to go to war and everything. But yeah, I would say for the most part, really it's North Korea who want to, you know, try to be the big boy and think that they can scare everybody. And Japan, they got their eyes on North Korea, but North Korea knows that if they are dead serious, America is literally right there just waiting to fire a missile.
Let it loose. Let it loose.
Mm.
I don't think niggas ain't scared of North Korea like that.
If you talk to what's that basketball player that goes over there who's
uh,
friends with Kim Jong Un? Um,
oh, I gotta look that one up. Hold on.
yeah, he's a former basketball player for Chicago Bulls. Uh, oh my goodness, his name
Dennis
escapes me.
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. That dude talks highly about North Korea and talk about how, yeah, man, Kim Jong Un is great. Me and him are buddies and everything. I advise any type of American to go over there. And it's like, you really want to send black folks over there?
Yeah, I'm looking at this art. Kim Jong Un wants famous U.S. basketball players as part of a denuclearization deal. That doesn't even sound right.
Right.
Kim Jong Un says he loves playing basketball. D you up one on one. I take you one on one. Imagine being that basketball player that's like you, because like you can't beat Kim Jong Un in basketball. I'm pretty sure that's like a law over there. So you gotta like
or,
you gotta double dribble. You gotta let the ball bounce off your foot.
Right.
You,
Or even like if he was like if there was a football team and he's like the quarterback of the football team there, you can't even tackle him or sack him. You have to let him throw the ball. And if you're a defender, you can't intercept it. It has to go to the receiver.
right, right. That shit, nah, man. That shit remind me of like Space Jam when the Monstars was talking about the deal. They when they remixed the deal, and he's like, you'll play one on one with the customers all day, and you'll always lose. Like that's pretty much the scenario you
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a perfect analogy of what it would be like if you was to play in North Korea.
Like, yeah, man. I saw Kim Jong. I saw Dennis Rodman dunk on Kim Jong Un, and he's never been seen again.
Right? That'll be definitely his last dunk.
We think he's in a re-education camp somewhere. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. See him come back out and he's all skin and bone. Like, man, what did happen to you? I dunked on Kim Jong Un.
What happened to all your piercings, Dennis? Just take my word for it, man. Don't play Kim Jong Un on 1-on-1. Just take my word for it. Oh, oh. Hey, I dropped an article in the private chat. I need you to
Yeah.
pull this up and look at these basketball players. These niggas look crazy. They look crazy standing here with Kim Jong Un, man. Oh shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me share this for the audience to see. I mean, my goodness.
It's like Dennis telling the rest of the Pookies, "Hey, trust me, it'll be fine."
I mean, they all look out of place. Just saying.
Oh shit.
I mean,
Cause you know Kim Jong he belongs wherever he stands, he belongs.
right.
So all of y'all look out. They look crazy. They look
I mean,
crazy. Some of them don't even. Some of them, I see terror in their eyes. I see some of them. Some of them.
honestly, I would be like, why, you basketball player, why y'all even smiling? Kim Jong Un and his assistant, they got that wartime look. Why y'all even smirking or smiling?
mm-hmm. Look at the brother in the suit, in all the way to the right. Look.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, Kermu, yeah, the review stream was over, but some of the buddies would like to discuss like an open discussion of the book, so that's why I started to stream up. So, yeah. Oh boy, but that's funny. That's a funny picture.
Yeah, man. I do. Hey, I need you to send me the. I need you to send me a link. I think you had the Amazon link in the description of the last video, but I don't see the video. So if you could get to drop that
Yeah,
down here or send it to me personally, that'd be dope.
yeah. Let me pull up the other video because it was playing earlier. All right, here we go. Oh, it's still. I gotta wait till it gets the live chat. So let me go directly to Amazon. Here we go.
I'm surprised you don't do. I'm surprised you don't do like any content of your travels over there in Japan.
You know, back in the day when I used to be over on that FS Avenger place, I did do a review of my travel over to Japan, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously I took it all down and everything before I went over here to um, YouTube. But you know what,
Mm-hmm.
bro? I think I'll go ahead and do a little review of my first trip there because I do have a lot of pictures where I could definitely show some places that I visited.
What's your favorite food to eat over there?
Man, so I have to split it up in two. So the my favorite breakfast food over there is this unique egg sandwich. It's not a typical egg sandwich that you would get at any fast food restaurant. these are type of egg sandwich where you could find them at your local convenience store and all. And by the way, the link to Amazon I posted in the back chat. But these sandwiches, the way they had them cut up, they were like in squares, or you could say cubicles. And then the egg itself, it was kind of like a rolled up omelet, but it was a little bit different where it still had like some of the scrambled eggs or boiled eggs that was still tucked in there. And they had this unique sauce to it. And bro, for the whole trip, that was my breakfast. No matter where I was going afterwards, that was my breakfast. And then one of my favorite dinner dishes that I've had, we went to Shibuya, and my friend took me
Shibuya.
my friend took me to this soba restaurant, and they have what's called kind of like soba noodles and everything. So, bro, they had this big bowl of what they call egg drop soba. All it is soba noodles and chicken broth, but they have like a whole scrambled egg dropped into the
I know
soup.
exactly what you're talking about.
Bro,
I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, that was the best soba soup I have ever eaten, hands down. And so the cool thing about it that is I can't wait till I go to Osaka, because Osaka has their own version of okonomiyaki. It's kind of like its own vegetable type of pancake and all. And okonomiyaki in and of itself is just tremendous. But also Osaka is home for this special dish called amu soba. And what it is they take yakisoba noodles and they tuck them inside of an omelet. And so, they put like their sauce over the omelet and everything. But when you cut it up, you got yakisoba noodles inside. Bro, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gonna be real, bro. Like as a kid, a lot of the food. I mean, the thing that I remember most was that Japan had some of the best candy I'd ever tasted. And even if it was like the same kind of candy here, the quality of it was vastly different.
Yes.
Vastly
Yes.
different. Like rock candy in Japan. I don't know what this shit is they have here, but the rock candy in Japan is way different than it is here. Way different.
Not only that, man, even like their bakery. Like, well, first off, I'll get to the bakery part. Let's talk about McDonald's. Now, we all know how bad McDonald's is here in America. We all know that. Bro, McDonald's in Japan,
amazing.
Amazing, dude. Like, have you ever had a burger and you don't feel guilty after eating it? Like, you really feel like you had like a healthy type of food? That's the biggest difference from a McDonald's in Japan.
I remember that. Yes, yes.
Compared to a McDonald's here in America. And then, to get back to the bakery, bro, their cake, you talk about a cake that would make you feel like you're walking on thin air, especially when they make like those cheesecake type of cakes. Bro, it just tastes so different. Like, completely, they take nutrition very seriously over in Japan.
Yeah, I remember there was a KFC right outside our base. Walk up there. I mean, it's got the the Japanese manuscript, and then in small letters it'll say, fried chicken, and just completely different than how it is here. Completely.
Yeah, man. And yeah, Xanatos, okonomiyaki, that's probably my number one favorite dish in Japan. But amu soba, that's what I'm looking forward to trying when I go to Osaka. Um, that's and cool thing about it, Miss Kagome, she actually knows how to make amu soba. So it's like, okay, you gonna really have to entice my taste buds with your cooking. I've had her cook it before, but I've never had amu soba. So it's like, okay, let's see how you make them.
Right, right. Hey, so I got to ask you one more question, and then I got to bounce.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if you could change anything about Japan, still keeping their values intact regarding something that you don't like there, what would it be?
Very good question. Honestly, it's just the working hours. I think that they can still get a lot done and still be a productive society if they reduce the working hours. Like, you don't need to be working 100 hours a week to the point
Right,
to where
right.
you're so tired you don't even want to spend time with your family and everything. To me, just go to a regular American style working hours where, hey, full time is 40 hours a week. If you want to work overtime, if the company allows it, go right ahead. But if not, as long as you put in 40 hours a week, you're good to go. That would give me time to hang out with my family and all, do some vacationing and everything, and just
Hmm.
be cool with it. That would probably be the only thing I would change. Outside of that, the way Japan is, as far as their standards, their culture, and all, leave it as is.
That's it. That's it. Hey, without further ado, I got to spend time with the family as well. So I'm gonna let you go, man. Appreciate you having me up, bro. Salute to you. Salute to y'all in the chat. Salute to the Black Ronins. I love what y'all doing. Take it easy, bro. We'll talk later, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and close down as well. So everybody, take care. Uh, you know what? Looking at the chat and everything, probably want to do more of these as well. So each time I do a book review or a movie review, I'll just start up a stream afterwards so we can have an open discussion and the guys want to come up, we could talk about it too. So until then, catch you next time.